What is up, YouTube? Bubbles and Ball Cards back with another video. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Hope your week has started out great. Hope October has started out great. Been doing okay here. Got the order shipped out for SGC. Got to watch the beginning of the end for The Walking Dead. Sunday night with the missus. Been packing up a bunch of eBay stuff, just hanging out. Recorded a couple episodes with Refractor for the podcast, the Card Chatter. Go check it out. And it kind of leads into this video today. I'm not going to go over everything that me and him talked about in the podcast, but I've caught a glimpse and just kind of been listening to the noise out there with the most current topic in the hobby, I guess, that's been floating around of, the National Enquirer or the Maury Povich Show or whatever you want to call it within sports cards. And I just kind of want to touch a few of my feelings, and I'm not taking sides on either end here, but it's like we need to decide, is this only being drawn up or discussed for content, or is there really an issue here? And if there is an issue, what is the issue? Who is at fault? Because I can kind of see things. I'm trying to look at things in a neutral manner, and we did kind of discuss this a little bit, me and Refractor, but there's a bunch of talk out here and targeting Great Curator, and I'll go over here and pull his channel up just so you guys can see. I should have had this already up. I apologize. So if you go in here, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really watch hardly any of his content. Let me go off of this. So here's the Great Curator's channel. If you're not familiar with him, you can see I'm not subscribed. I clicked on this video the other day, but I don't watch a lot of his stuff. Like you can see, it's a very small portion there, very small. Like if YouTube clicks over to him, I usually have no interest, and so I click off. He doesn't talk about or talk in a manner of way that I really am interested in, so I just don't pay a lot of attention. I watched the video with him and Dakota, the 101, but you go through here, not much. Like I don't really watch his content at all, and I'm gonna tell you why. So if I can get back to it, back when he first started, I don't even know if they're still on here. Oh, right here. 1 year ago, like back, you can see this was his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. His 14th video, right? Understanding what can add artificial value to cards. Now, this is an interesting video because a lot of what's being talked about with him is artificial value, right? And he legit did, within his first 15 videos, a video that says understanding what can add artificial value to cards. And I'm going to click on this video real quick just to share with you. And what's just a gimmick, right? So understanding what can add artificial value to cards and what's just a gimmick. And right here, I commented on this video. And this was when I pretty much said, okay, I don't know the guy, but I just didn't see him adding anything to like my hobby experience, right? I could tell right away kind of where he was at in the space, and by things he was saying and like the knowledge he had, and it just wasn't anything that I was going to get value from. This was going to be artificial value, essentially. based off content. I kind of spotted it from the beginning. So, I commented here a bit more education because there were things he said you could tell he didn't know anything about. So, a bit more education. Beckett obtained their values by assigning people to attend regional shows throughout the country and observe sales and values. I knew about this from my relationship with Refractor and my friendship with him, and me and him had discussed, he used to actually do this for Beckett. Essentially a real-world eBay, except a lot less manipulation, as these were person-to-person transactions and not auctions that can be shilled. Secondly, the A in PSA isn't for authority. It's for authentication. He was saying that PSA stood for Professional Sports Authority or something like that, if I remember correctly. And essentially, I guess he thought they were part of Fanatics because, ha ha he he, Sports Authority. But anyway, he kept calling the A as authority, and I was like, it's for authentication, as their main focus was authenticating cards, not exactly just assigning condition values. Also note their first ever card was an altered card, and that trend continues on. We talking about the Wagner, and there's been, even still today, the FBI investigation, all that other stuff with the trimming. But anyway, thirdly, he spoke on the grading companies, and I told him, SGC actually became a grading company before BGS, but they had a 100-point scale, usually in increments of 2, and were originally a part of the CGC umbrella company before going solo. And now the new company, CSG, is under the CGC umbrella company. Appreciate people trying to educate the hobby. We all can learn something new every day in this crazy world of cards, as long as it's accurate education. Also, he was speaking on Mike Baker. I said, also, the sticker guy, Mike Baker, the reason the value is increased, as gimmicky as it is because PSA grading is so inconsistent, and he used to be a head grader for PSA as well as the owner of GIA, another grading company that was well respected, so people respect and value his opinion. Not all PSA 10s are graded equally, and that's where his opinion and PWCC opinion comes into play. Is a bit silly to regular collectors, yes, but does make sense for high-end investors. So he was talking about how the PWCC eye appeal rating or the Mike Baker sticker can add artificial value. Well, yes and no. As a gimmick as it can be, it is important to some people to know what it's basically like. Third-party graders are kind of a sort of a secondary opinion to what we as the collector see, and they give an official stamp. But then the grading is so inconsistent that they, PWCC's eye appeal thing or Mike Baker's sticker thing was kind of then giving yet another opinion. So it's basically an opinion on an opinion on an opinion to satisfactorily certify and, take bias away, is what the intent is for. So, I watched this video. I didn't get much from it. I don't comment a ton on people's stuff. But this one, again, he was new. This was back, within his first 15 videos. And I thought, okay, maybe this guy is trying, but I don't see I can see this going in a bad path, right? So it's funny that this video was actually titled Artificial Value, and then he's the target of pumping and dumping, which obviously adds artificial value. So, you can see from that video going down here, I just, I was turned off to his content. I don't watch the guy. I don't care about really what he's doing. What I will say, no, I guess he had, that was 10 years ago. Okay, never mind. What I will say, I talked about it, if this guy likes Marvel cards, that's not, that's nothing bad, okay? If you like Star Wars cards, that's nothing bad. There's many Star Wars collectors out there. I've heard people say, well, if you're seeing this stuff, you need to call it out. Okay. But what are we calling out? Are we calling out a guy that is talking about Marvel PMGs and how he feels that there's a market for them or what have you? Or are we calling out that some shenanigans have happened? Are we calling out that price manipulation had happened? Are we calling out that shilling had happened? Are we calling out fake values being reported? That's the stuff that's more important to me. If a guy is sitting here saying, hey, I like Marvel, I like Star Wars, okay, cool. Um, if you can't tell, secret, I like the Washington Nationals. Does that mean that because I sit here and wear a Nationals hat, I have a flag hanging in the background, I have cards, back over, I can't point to it, but that wall and the stuff back there, and does that mean I expect all of you to go buy Washington National stuff? No. It's like my room, the way I have it designed. Just because he talks about Marvel PMGs, or he might have some in a display case behind him, or what have you, or he posts, makes posts on Instagram, does that mean that he's expecting you to go buy Marvel PMGs? I mean, I can't speak for the man, but I wouldn't automatically assume that that's what he wants you to do. And I think that's what people do. They find, like, Gary Vee was a huge target for this, and we discussed this in the podcast. But I remembered, like, when Acuna was close to 40-40, and Gary Vee made a post and said something about, I really like Ronald Acuna. I really like this kid Ronald Acuna, and like the Acuna cards started going crazy. Well, people were blaming Gary Vee, but the fact is Acuna was on pace for 40-40. No different than, like, if Gary or myself or Curator or anybody else out there on social media, YouTube, whatever, if they were to say, I really like Aaron Judge cards. All right, well, sure. The guy's about to chase 62, he's going for 62 home runs. So if his card skyrocketed, does that mean me saying that caused everybody to run out and buy it? No. It's the fact of the matter of the timing of the market. The timing of what the scenario that was going on. Can't talk. So there's more things involved, I think, in, like, throwing targets at people because they do something that you don't like doesn't necessarily put guilt on the individual. Um, Again, I don't follow. That's one reason why I wanted to show his channel. I don't pay attention to his content. I don't care what the man buys. I learned early on that his content wasn't anything I was going to enjoy or get use out of. And if he enjoys Marvel or Star Wars, who cares? Like, because the price went up, if that man was able to really shift the market legitimately just by talking about Marvel PMGs to the price point it got, that's pretty damn impressive. And I would be questioning, like, what did he do to get it there? Because if he has that much control on this market, that's scary as hell. It's like he's one man. He only has 6,000 subscribers on YouTube. And you're telling me that he could shift a market that far? I think the real issue isn't that he's talking about Marvel PMGs. I think there is a lot of shenanigans that happen behind the scenes. That's the stuff that's not getting pointed out. Like, show me proof where what individuals ran the pricing up to where they got to. Show me that information, right? Show me, and I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure it's out there. Show me conversations, because let's face it. People have each other's phone numbers. People have these discords. People have, what is the other stuff? Clubhouse. There's Facebook Messenger groups. There's, Instagram chats. There's all these different places that can privately have messages. It's not hard to get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people together and message each other and say, hey, let's buy this stuff. It's low priced and it's a small market. It's untapped. Let's talk about it. Let's start picking it up. And then you turn 6,000 subscribers over the course. Let's say it's 5 people, and each of them have an average of 4,000 subscribers. You're gonna have some variables in there, so we'll cut it down to, like, I don't know, 2,500. But you got 5 people then at 2,500. then you have 12,500 people. So it grows the audience, but it also, you have multiple different people tossing in this attraction to this untapped market. And then you could have person A buy at X price, person B buy at Y price, person C buy at Z price, and it starts going up. And then person A comes back in. And if they already have inventory, what that does is when they overpay, what it looks to be overpaid, well, they in fact just inflated all their other inventory. So when they sell it, they're profiting. Like if they bought 4 copies and then they overpay, let's say 10x from the beginning price that they bought at, and they overpay it at 10x, well, then yeah, all their other inventory now is sitting at that comp. That's why comps shouldn't be as relied heavily on as they are, because just because that person paid that price doesn't mean that the next person is going to pay it, right? The other fact is markets can be shifted oppositely. And that's something, that's another thing I mentioned. Like, if he was able to run the price up as high as he did, then what keeps him from running the price backwards so he can reobtain? Like, there's cycles that go here, right? So, learning and understanding that it's not just so much one individual, this actually takes a concerted group effort to move something that fully. If one person is moving a market that strong, this entire hobby has a huge issue. And the real issue then becomes, if it's one person, too many people are influenced. Like, if Curator legit moved the market that far to where it dropped, it's still at what, 10 grand? I don't even remember what the pricing was. What did it go from 200 to 10,000 or something like that? Anyway, if it moved and shifted that far because of one person, he has way too much influence over people, because we all are individuals. We all can like different sports. We all can like different teams. We all can like different athletes. We all can like Marvel, Star Wars, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever, right? We all can like different things. But if you're following a path because of one person, you need to change the way you're doing things, because you're going to get trapped, right? So I think instead of just putting a target out there and headhunting people because they're talking about something they may possibly 100% truly enjoy, the research and the digging and the skeletons and the burying people needs to be more about, how did this happen to begin with? Is it the people who were influenced to blame? Do they need to start being more independent about their decisions, about what they're buying? Or was there stuff that was just manipulated to begin with to get it to where it is? I mean, did that $200,000 auction, did it get shilled to the freaking high heavens? We don't know. A lot of that stuff is hidden. We don't know. So, anyway, I don't talk a lot about this stuff, but it's a hot button topic right now. I wanted to just toss another view. Everybody. I think a lot of the sports card channels have turned into news, and whether it's your Fox News or whether your National Enquirer news, it's what is getting views, and people are heavily grasping for anything that they can put out to get views on. If people watch this, great. If they don't, oh well. I'm sitting here behind a camera giving thoughts. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Hope you have a wonderful day. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, and until the next video, I'm out.